Charna Davis-Wiese, and welcome to UCF in Print. How powerful is the human mind? Fueled by passion, talent, and hard work, a UCF professor does not let a wheelchair get in the way of creating award-winning literature. Better yet, she is using her drive and energy to inspire her students as well. Please join me as we visit UCF professor Codrina Cozma. We're on the set of UCF at the Movies here in Orlando on the UCF campus because we had to make special arrangements for this very special guest who we really wanted to talk to, Dr. Codrina Cozma. Thank you so much. You have to understand how hard it was to make this happen. As you see, Dr. Cozma is in an electric wheelchair, and we actually had to reschedule this, and we all take it for granted that, okay, we'll just move the location to someplace else. You can't just do that. You can't just change plans midway.
I'm just happy that the weather permitted me to come here today. It was raining yesterday, so I couldn't have made it.
And I went to try to find you. You called me on my cell phone, and I went to look for you because it was a new place for both of us. We had to find it, and there you were, tooling down the street. You are a very courageous woman.
I go straight down Research Parkway, competing with the cars, right?
No fear?
That's bold, no fear.
No fear.
No fear.
And so you can actually, it probably takes that kind of attitude to do what you do. I don't even know how to introduce you.
It does.
To be perfectly honest.
I don't have a car, so I have to do this on a daily basis.
That's amazing. But I don't know how to introduce you because of all the things you've done. You're 29 years old, you have your doctorate, you have your Ph.D. You are an expert in film, you're a poet. You write journals. You speak 5 languages and are learning 2 more. You translate books into different languages. What you been doing? I mean, what you been doing all this time with your free time?
It's been hard because I've been traveling. You know, one of my articles is about a hybrid individual, one that is made up of 2 cultures. I'm made up of several cultures, really, and traveling a lot and trying to find myself and my home, and it's been quite an experience.
You were born in Romania.
I was born in Romania. I came here when I was 17. I've been back and forth for a while.
So the hybrid of cultures, it's Romania, it's the United States, it's any of the other languages that you've had
Germany.
In Germany as well.
Yes, we did go to France and Germany and England.
And even getting your first degree wasn't easy. You took your classes in Romania, and then you had to take a very special kind of almost boards to get your degrees from France and Spain. Tell me about that.
Right. In the first place, my degree from Romania was quite a challenge because they are not wheelchair accessible at all, and they're not willing to accommodate a handicapped person. So I was able to participate in about 30% of the classes only. I had to study at home. I had to make arrangements with the professors for the exams. And
but you were going to do it. You decided, I'm going to do it, and I did it. How long did it take you to do that?
40 years, but I did 1 year in Valdosta. So,
so you did it probably less time than many people get their degrees, and then you had to take these tests from Spain and from France.
Yes, they were programs of the Spanish and French embassies in Romania, and their cultural centers offered courses that I took, and then they had professors from France coming to examine the people. And so the oral was there, but the written exams were shipped to Paris and Madrid, and the Ministry of Education there actually granted the diploma. So.
And then you went to Tampa, the University of South Florida?
And then I came.
Not yet.
Not yet, not yet. While I was doing this, George Soros granted me $20,000 to come here for 1 year and study as an undergraduate student.
Wow.
I know people say a lot of bad things about him, but
not you.
But he is a great...
He does other things.
Yes, yes. And so I was in Valdosta for 1 year.
And did you see how much easier it was for you?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Did you always know you wanted to write? I told you I have a friend whose daughter is in 7th grade, and as long as I've known this child, she's wanted to be a writer. Was that you? Were you one of those kids?
You know, now I remember that. Now that you mention it, when I was a baby, and my mother asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I said I want to be a writer.
Really?
And it's been happening, but I'm not there yet. You know, I'm still growing as a writer.
You know, I think that probably great artists never feel that they get there.
Right.
You know, I think that's probably what happens.
That's true.
But you're probably way far ahead of many writers.
Right.
You've won amazing awards, one of the best poetry awards, and of all the things you do, is there one particular type of writing that's your favorite?
You will see this in my poems too. I'm a Christian, and that's part of my writing, and that is part of my translations too. I've been translating Christian books. I have 3 so far, and I'm planning to work with Campus Crusade. I have a meeting with them, so if they watch me, they probably watch me in January, right? But if they watch me, they better give me a job.
You know, when I Googled you, I don't even know if I can say Googled you, but I Googled you, I kept saying, what are these languages? I didn't even know. So there's probably Greek and Romanian that I was seeing.
Right, Romanian for sure.
So you speak French,
German.
English, French, German, Spanish,
right.
Greek, Romanian, a little bit of Japanese.
Right.
Oh, so you really are a hybrid.
I was really, this is funny. My department head, I was talking to him and I said, you know, I can speak several languages, and I mentioned them, and I mentioned Romanian, and he stopped and he said, huh, where'd you pick up Romanian?
From my parents.
This is funny, but I think that, you know, in my heart, I am an American, and I love to be an American. Americans are, by definition, something something that encompasses all the cultures of the world.
And tell me about the article. What kind of conclusions did you come to about being a hybrid person? Because we all are.
Yes, and it's beautiful, because if you are that, you can relate to other people, and you can work with people from all the cultures. So I think it's a blessing.
It's funny, you know, my kids, there are so many religions in our family, and my son said to me the other day, what are we, Mom? And I said, we're Kajutha Episcopalians. And it's nice, and we joke about it, but you learn to really accept and appreciate other people when you're a little bit of everybody too, don't you?
That's true.
Which poem are you going to read for me?
I wanted to start,
one first.
Yes, I wanted to start with, they're all very, very personal poems. And I was telling you before the show that I feel like a very late confessional poet. The one that I wish to read first is called Wishes. I wish I could feel the silky softness of grass blades under my feet. I wish the ocean wrapped me in cold, swinging waves. I wish I could ride a white horse up a hill as the sun goes down. But if none of these wishes ever comes true, I simply wish that God held my hand as I walk down the path of my life.
Was there one particular moment that brought that on?
You know, you would have to see me in person to realize why I wrote this, because I cannot have those things, you know. And I was back in Valdosta, and I was at a time when I was looking back on my life. I was doing my master's there, and really, you know, it's one of those moments when you wish you had those things, but if that doesn't happen, you have to trust the Lord that He will show you the way.
Because in all different degrees, there are something we all would wish for that we will never experience.
Exactly.
And it's all relative in people's lives.
Absolutely.
Did it make you feel better to write it?
Yes.
Now you say you're a confessional poet, and you know, being a writer myself, it was journalism and nothing near to the art that you do. You put yourself out there on paper, and you put yourself out there in a way that you can be rejected in a way that most people may not understand. So it must have been a very scary thing for you to do this.
No, I think it's very cryptic, because people don't know unless they see me what I mean. And the message really for everybody who reads the poem is enjoy this, appreciate this, the small little things in life, you know. Just take some time and enjoy those things.
And also thinking about that poem, So many times you hear people tell children when they're telling about the joys of reading, and that you could read a book and you can fly and you can be in places you'll never be, and the kids with the Harry Potter books can experience all these magical things that will never happen. And I guess in a way you can do this through your writing, and more of a degree than us just reading your writing.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So is there another one? That was wonderful. There's another one you want to share with us?
This one, again, it just brings tears to my eyes, but I'll just try not to because I have a lot of makeup on today. But this one is very dear to my heart because I wrote it when, again, I was in Valdosta, and it was my sister's birthday. And she wasn't with me anymore. She was in heaven. She died when she was 9. And
younger sister, older sister?
She was younger. She was 9 and I was 20 when she died.
Much younger.
And she really she died for lack of medical care in Romania, which really broke my heart. And I promise I'll never go back because of that. It's very sad. But this poem is called Letter to an Angel. Happy birthday, my sweet little sister. I know you have blown out all your 14 candles this morning. She should have been 14 when I wrote the poem. While radiant angels were floating and singing around you. I know Jesus sat down at the table with you and kissed your rosy cheeks. I know Jesus sat down, I'm sorry, that's the next line. I miss your soft, caressing little hands. But I know that you have caressed Jesus today. And I'm sure you are wearing the finest, most precious gown and a golden crown on your blonde, wavy hair. Mom and I are in Canaan now. The sunshine and the palm trees are healing all my wounds. And the Lord is pouring His peace and joy into my heart to lift me up whenever I fall. I met someone whose eyes are deep blue like yours. He is my best friend. I know there's a reason why I am still alive. Life is worth living for all the surprises God has in store for me. And I know that I will have all the caresses that I'm longing for and all the endless love my heart thirsts for someday when we all are in heaven. Some things will never come true here.
Right.
You know, and you have to find a way to deal with them, and you have to find a way to heal your heart. And
I think your purpose is quite clear to the rest of us, to be able to share that and help people understand that, because you have the insight that many people don't.
Thank you.
And
you're just kind.
You know, it's wonderful. It really is. And you, as hard as it is to sometimes get those words on paper, it's a very difficult career. It's probably one of the most daunting things to become a professional writer and make a living at it.
Right. I keep telling my students when they write papers, they have a personal voice and they have a public voice, and they have to find a way to balance the two. And it's hard. It's very hard. But I never reject the personal voice in a student's paper, because I know writing should be part of that. You know, this is why we write. We put on paper a piece of our heart.
What's it like for you to be a professor? And you're really not that much older than your students. I bet you can. Maybe that's why when I tried to get information from you on the internet, page after page, I think it was hundreds of pages of your students writing how much they adore you. Have you seen that?
Yes, I do.
I mean, do they tell you that, or they just write it to tell other people, hey, this is grammar, but I'm liking it?
Yes, this is one of the requirements that I have in my classes, because I want to be tuned to my students at all times. So what I do in the middle of the semester, I tell them to write a blog. And this is for publication, and I tell them it's okay to criticize me, to say something negative, as long as you justify it and tell me why. And the reason why I do this is because I want them to be able to feed back on me what they learn and if they learn anything in my class.
What they all said is that you have them, when they have to read a book, that you have them actually take a particular chapter,
Yes.
really go into depth, really go into the history, and then present it.
Yes.
They must be deer in the headlights when you're telling them the first day of class. Do they look frightened?
No. Well, the first time around, yes. But, you know, I'm a media person too, and I tell them to dress nice and present, because the way you appear is, you know, your label for the world, and you need to appear credible and reliable when you present something. And you know, I want to educate their aesthetic taste too. And so it's more like what I'm doing in my classes is an exercise for me for my project. I told you about the book club that I want to open.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yes, I would love to have, you know, Oprah is an inspiration to me for real. She's part of my dissertation too. One of the chapters of my dissertation is about Oprah's book club and what she
Does
means.
she know?
I'll send her a copy of this tape.
I've got some hints for you on how to get
Yes.
TV people's attention. It has to do with food.
Yeah.
You put your thing in
Okay,
food.
well,
They'll open your DVD before someone else's, right, guys? I'm asking for food, right?
I need to have my mother cook something Romanian, which is
Right.
delicious food. But I would love to open a club that would encourage people to read. And I'm not talking about just an English literature book club, but books from all the fields. I want to have doctors and business people on my book club that would come and talk to students about the best book in their field and why it's the best book and what we could do with it to change our world. And also, part of the mission of this club would be to encourage students to publish. It's very important that they start publishing at an early age.
Because
Like
they
I
have to
did.
really get used to getting in there and asking for the attention and asking for the acclamation, the acclaim, but then they're probably going to get rejected a lot. Doesn't matter how good you are.
Yes.
Because, you know, we all find that out. But you just have to deal with, well, I'm great. I can't imagine you saying, getting one letter saying, oh yeah, forget it, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm sure that you kept at it, because it has
Yes.
nothing to do. You have to think, I'm great at this and I love doing this.
You have to be very perseverant when you do this, and you also have to be very patient. When I publish my journal articles, which are scholarly articles, they would have them revised several times, and they would send them back and forth, you know, and so you have to be patient, and you also have to be very good at dealing with people, negotiating your message, because they would want to change what you wrote. Somebody thinks it's better this way, you know.
There's always an editor.
Yes, yes, and you have to be really
Flexible as well.
flexible and versatile, and try to and know how to argue your stand, and know how to defend your writing.
What's your favorite thing to do? Is it poetry? Is it the journals? Is it what's your favorite thing to do?
It's a little bit of everything, really. It's and I love teaching. I love touching the hearts and the minds of my students.
Have any been published?
Any of my students? I haven't started doing that with them.
They're
no.
still working on it.
But I'm one of the most avid collectors of their essays.
You do. You have them. You save them.
And I push them for the contests always. We have a composition essay contest at UCF, and most of the universities have that. And so I am, you know, the one that really emphasizes that in class. I also like the best essays and push them for awards.
They must be so surprised when you say, yes, this is it. This
yes,
is great.
Yes.
Because as a writer, you never really are sure. You know, you like it, it's your heart. I mean, I know when I do, I like it, it's my heart, but it's like, I don't know. What's somebody else going to think about it?
And part of writing is overcoming that fear of rejection. And, you know, this is something beautiful that I'm writing. And I don't care if it's just one person that reads it and enjoys it. I'm going to write for that one person.
Are you working on something right now?
I'm working on a lot of things. The first thing is to find another job. You know, that's my priority right now. I have to be on an assistant professor position. I have to be where I can advance, and I have to be where I can really develop, all my projects with students and with publications. So.
Do you have another poem you'd like to read for us?
Yes. This is the very first one that I wrote back in Valdosta. And there was this beautiful place on campus there. It was this fountain, and on each side of the fountain they had palm trees. And that was my retreat, my favorite spot. And every time I felt overwhelmed, I would go there and pray and have some peace. And this is where I wrote this poem. It's called Happiness. The Bible says God means his sons and daughters to be happy. But they will look for happiness in the exalted power that fame and money entail. Just like Solomon, I have found that riches of gold and knowledge are but a shadow of happiness. But in the light of the blue skies of America, in the whisper of the wind through the palms, as I read my Bible under the splashes of a fountain, and as the sunbeams flicker upon its holy leaves, has my heart been filled with a sound and eternal happiness.
Does it take you back there when you read it?
Yes.
Do you have a spot here in Orlando?
I haven't had a chance to find one. I've been here for only 4 months. But I like the fountain in front of the library. It's beautiful.
I look at all the things that you have done, and you almost, I can really relate to you in doing so many different things and learning so many different things. I can just feel sitting talking to you how open you are to new experiences. And is that difficult in this day of video games and everything with the kids, the electronics the kids are into, to convey to them how much there is to learn, how much there is to experience?
I think it's hard, but I've done some incredible things with my classes back in Tampa. I would take them on trips. We went to FBI in Tampa. We went to the Dali Museum. We went to the Holocaust Museum in St. Pete. I took them places, and I wanted them to write about those places. I even took them to my lawyer's office because I wanted them to be exposed to how to write an official document. And writing is real, and they have to experience the world around them. They have to know their community, and they have to know how they could change the world. I did change the world in Tampa. I did just by writing letters. They built 2 sidewalks on 50th Street in Tampa. So that's my street. That's Codrina Street.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I tell my students, you can do this. You can make a difference. Writing is powerful.
That was, you must have read my mind. That's where I was going, because I noticed in some of the things I was looking at that you had written something about the power of the word, about the power of the written word. And I always wondered if those of us who are writers are the only people who really understand and believe that. But it is so powerful.
Actually, I think you saw that in my dissertation. It's my dissertation's title. And it's not the written word that I'm analyzing in my dissertation, it's the spoken word. That's the title, the power of the spoken word.
There we go.
Literature and mass media in the 1990s in America. I think the word is powerful, whether it is spoken or written. And my claim in my dissertation is that oral literature is important, and it's rich, and it's worth taking a look at it and considering that literature. For that matter, Oprah's oral spoken word is important and powerful.
And people don't think of that as being literature.
She makes all the sales, right?
Right.
Yes.
People don't think of oral literature, the things you hear, as being literature if it's not actually written down in a book, but it really can be.
And we do have nowadays a lot of media that publish the word, not just the printed word, not just the print, but also the camera. The camera is a means of enforcing the spoken word.
You've done
we should
so
take advantage
much,
of that.
and I know you do want a job, but besides that, in terms of writing, in terms of experiencing the world, what do you really want to do? I mean, if there's something that if I could grant you right now, yes, let's go do it together, what would it be?
It's hard to say. I do need a car to be able to go anywhere. And so I have to take my priorities. I have to be very wise and very realistic about what I can do at this time. I would love to travel, but not having a car really limits me in that. So, you know, for now, I do want to publish my dissertation as a book. That's my #1 project. And I have another 3 articles that I need to send out. I have more poems. They're more complex, they're more sophisticated.
What are they about? What are any particular subject, or is there a path you're going on, or many different things?
They are very deep, very philosophical. They are about our perception of time, our perception of love. You know, it's I'm taking things. I'm looking deeper into things.
As we start to wrap up, if there's a message that you have for people, you know, meeting you has been such a joy. It really has been, and to give people a little bit of that determination and that optimism and the ability to see the bright side. What would your message be?
My message would be time is precious and life is beautiful, so we have to use our time wisely, and we have to enjoy life, and we have to work with whatever we have. If I only had a wheelchair to get here today, I use that. So whatever you have, you can transform that into great things. You can work with what you have, and you can be successful at that.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Codrina Cozma. How lucky are we to have the works of Dr. Cozma so we could read, and how lucky are her students to have her to inspire them. I'm Charna Davis-Wiese. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time on UCF in Print.